Today's special guest is Robert Northfield with Keller Williams Midtown Direct Realty. We're excited to have him with us to share his insight. He's one of the top agents in that area. And welcome to the podcast, Robert.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So just wanted to start off with what inspired you to get into the real estate career, and how has that shaped your journey and your approach to client service?
It is a bit of a story, but I don't think it's going to be a lot different from a lot of people. I was in the accounting field. I was an accounting manager. I was in accounting and worked in different accounting jobs for about 10 years. And just one day, I woke up and decided I don't like accounting anymore. But before that, I was already getting my real estate license. One of the reasons is, to be completely honest, I was frustrated with realtors. They didn't call me back, or they called me back days later. They didn't have answers. And I felt that at least the people I met were just glorified taxi drivers.
Gotcha. It's interesting you were in the accounting field, because I actually had an accounting degree, and one of my first interviews, the person, it was an accounting field. He's like, "You're going to be bored here." So I kind of went in a different direction, basically right out of college. So into finance, and then got into mortgages. So can you tell us how the market areas of Maplewood and Orange and Montclair are evolving recently, and what should buyers be aware of?
Well, the market now is quite competitive for buyers. Although just this week we're seeing a big increase in the supply of listings. But it's also a time where our buyers enter the market. So there will be this balance of buying and selling, or listings and buyers. But we have had a competitive market now for several years, and I believe, this supply increase will relieve some of the pressure, but we're going to see what happen. There's a lot of external factors that could impact the market, and the stock market, news about jobs. We're hearing many layoffs in the federal government. Fortunately, that does not impact our immediate area.
Yep.
We're practically impacted by more about the New York City job market, as well as some of the big corporations in Northern Jersey. However, I still believe that we're still going to continue to have a very strong and competitive market over the next several months and perhaps a year, simply because we just don't have enough houses.
Exactly.
And buyers
Yep.
Are looking for homes, and rentals are so high. So having a mortgage or having a house is definitely a more of a financial benefit now.
Yeah, absolutely. I read recently that the average homeowner has 40 times the net worth of the average renter in the U.S. So that's a huge differential. So definitely makes sense.
My buyers who bought and were thinking they're overpaying for homes 3-4 years ago.
Yep.
These houses are worth 50-60% higher.
Yeah. I had a buyer not that long ago. We closed, I think, maybe in 2019-ish, and they sold their house for, just several months back for like double what they paid for it. Bought a bigger, nicer house, and even though rates are higher, used the extra equity that they got from selling the house, pay off all their other debt, and ended up with an overall monthly savings from what they were paying before. So, it's the housing market is definitely been competitive, and being the inventory's been light, it's been driving up prices. So, what are some of the common pitfalls first-time home buyers face in the market, and how can they avoid them?
The competitiveness of the market is definitely one. Two, not knowing what is needed, not knowing what are the terms in a contract that could set their offer apart from the others. So working with a good realtor and experienced realtors and I say realtors, sometimes we have these teams. I have a small team myself, but working with a realtor that knows how to get it done, a realtor that has years in the business and a network, communication skills to get it done. Because at the day, sometimes these personal relationships that one realtor has with the rest of the community can have some impact on the situation. And just clearly communicating the terms of the contract, and also very, very important, having a pre-approval from a reputable, established, recognized mortgage lender that sets apart the one offer from the others.
Awesome. Can you share any upcoming neighborhoods and any upcoming listings or neighborhoods that buyers should have on their radar?
Well, in the area that I cover, there are some areas that still I see a big opportunity for appreciation. And it's typically the areas that have been looked over, over the years. And we're seeing some interest in those neighborhoods. When you see that in Montclair, neighborhoods that were, were not considered very fancy, or, the other side of town, so to speak. Those are the neighborhoods that one can see some price appreciation. Like, I was thinking about that yesterday, and some of the neighborhoods that were just considered out of the track, so to speak. Those are the neighborhoods that are seeing the highest level of appreciation.
Awesome. You've built a reputation as a top producer. What marketing strategies help you get your listings to stand out? Well,
in getting into the business today, I think last time I checked, there's about 70,000 licensed realtors in New Jersey. How you set yourself apart. I mean, everything you do, from showing up, dressing professional, taking it serious, knowing your stuff, answering the phone, emails, meeting people, because it's a people's business. So you approach it from every single angle. When I first started, I did a lot of open houses and to this day, I believe it is the best way to meet buyers and meet sellers. But obviously, hosting and conducting an open house, it's an art by itself. Collecting people's information and professionally and consistently following up and getting in touch. And that's how it works. But you have to know your stuff. You have how to get things done. Best thing today is to get a mentor, or to work with a team, or someone that has a lot of experiences, because the fundamentals are always the same.
For anybody that's looking to sell their home in the near future, what key things should sellers do to prepare their home for today's market?
Well, as they say, you never get a second chance to make a very good and strong first impression. So having it in good repair, getting it staged professionally, and obviously using a listing agent that is known to do a good job. And perhaps interview 1 or 2 agents. Don't interview 7 agents. Just, who's doing the business, and who has the experience, and who has track records. And then approach, interview them, and see who you would work best with.
Awesome. Let's see. Tell us about your team at Keller Williams and how collaborating elevates the client experience with you guys.
Well, one of the comments I made earlier about the availability, when somebody calls somebody, you need to have coverage, because the consumer today is used to the Amazon checkout experience,
Yep.
and a day after you buy it. Uber is arriving at your doorstep in 7 minutes or 10 minutes. So the immediacy of our culture now has impacted the expectations of the real estate agents. Also, all these shows about realtors on TV, the $1 million listing and this and that and the other has created another level of expectations. Obviously, we're not all living, in parties and creating the drama, but
Yep.
there is a level of expectations, professional look, with the emphasis on professional look, as well as expectations of communication and knowledge. You gotta have to know your market. You gotta have to be available. If you're not available for your buyer or your client, they'll find somebody else that is. So that is the challenge for a lot of our peers in our community, is the availability and the expectations. It's just a lot of pressure.
Yep. Yeah. Definitely have to be on your A game in this market, in this world these days, because everybody is used to quick responses. So, can you share a story where you helped a client overcome a major hurdle in their real estate journey?
I have helped many over the years. Very early on in my career, I had somebody call me, and because I used to send around like a mailer, and he told me he was in the market, and the house did not sell. So obviously, the first thing I asked is, can I come and see the home? So I went to see the home. There are these security gates on the windows and security gate, in front of the front door. So right away, he was like, "What's wrong with this house? Is the mob gonna hit it?" It's just scary looking, and the only house on the street with that. That's when you go in, you open the door, and there is a bag of shoes that's in the way. And then you go in, and the house is dark, oversized furniture. So I said, look, if you want to really sell this house, here's what we need to do. We have to change light bulbs. We have to clean the house. We have to remove all that extra.
Yep.
And it would just have to present it in a much better way, and you have to market it.
Yeah.
Sold it in probably less than a week. And at the closing or after the closing, he looked at me and said, "Robert, I cannot thank you enough. I was in foreclosure and I was about to lose it next week."
Wow.
And he walked away with $50,000 that day.
Nice. Yeah. Sometimes, the little things, the lighting and stuff like that. If you walk into a house that's really dark, it's not a good feeling. Bringing that light and clearing clutter can make a huge difference in the, first impressions when you walk in and you're like, oh my God. So yeah, awesome. How about, what would you give one piece of advice to every buyer, so that they know before they start their search?
There are many things I should tell to today's buyers. One, make sure you have a good quality pre-approval. That is the beginning. Don't look at homes thinking one thing. And then if you need to speak with financial advisors, look, I cannot tell you how many times said, "Oh, we love the house, but we need to speak to our financial advisor." Well, we've been looking for 6 months.
Yeah.
So sometimes you have to question, is that true, or they're just not ready? So if there is another person that is influential in the decision, you should discuss that process with them, whether it's a parent or a spouse or a financial advisor or a tax attorney, whoever it is. Ask the question out, because you're wasting some valuable time of your own time as well as people's time. Know what you want. I mean, you can shop online and see what's being offered to gauge the market. You can go to open houses. But the notion of going to see houses every weekend and you want to see 4 or 5 and select the best one and you don't get it, is a process that will be failing soon. So you gotta have to be realistic of what you can get from the market. Don't expect 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms with a finished basement and a beautiful yard for 400
Yep.
in an expensive town where the average is 700. That's just not going to happen. You
Yep.
have to be realistic with the market and what you can get and your expectations.
Yeah.
And a realtor that knows how to get things done.
Yep. I always tell people, if I can get you pre-approved for a certain number, but you got to also be comfortable with making that payment, because it doesn't do you any good. Just because I can get you approved doesn't mean that fits your lifestyle and how you want to live your life. And it's always best to get pre-approved and know what your payments are and what your budget is ahead of time, because when you start going out looking at $700,000 houses, but you really only comfortable with a $500,000 mortgage payment, you're going to be looking at much different properties, and then you get your expectations way up here and you got to bring them more down to earth. So it's always important to take that first step and make sure you get a pre-approval and know that, what your budget is and what you're comfortable with. Just because we can get you pre-approved for something doesn't mean that payment and that number is something that you really want to work with. So awesome. Do you have any final insights or something you wanted to cover today?
No, I think we pretty much covered a lot of grounds. We talked about my team briefly. I have a really good team. I have two great admin professionals. One that helps me primarily with the listings and business development, and one that helps me with record retention, documents, and we're really working well together. And I have 3 buyer's agents, and we're just there was a day that I had a much bigger team. Right now, staying focused on what we want to do and what we love to do, and providing the best quality service to our clients as well as our peers, because we're in a community helping each other thrive. So it's important to maintain good relations. And so we have that. We do amazing level of marketing. I have nearly 30 years of business experience, and I've closed over 5,000 transactions. So you can imagine how many people I work with, how many appraisers and inspectors and municipal officials that I had to deal with. So you can never beat experience. You can never substitute real experience. We can talk about training, online training, all of that, but until you do it yourself and gain that level of experience, and that's what really sets us apart in our.
It definitely brings a competitive edge when you have that knowledge and people know who you are and what you're all about, so that when you bring in your buyers, they're more likely to take your offer than the next person. So awesome. Well, it was great speaking with you. What's the best way to reach out to you, Robert, if anybody has any questions or they're looking to buy or sell?
Of course. Website is robertnorthfield.com or robertnorthfieldrealestate.com. Obviously, my phone number is 973-544-8001. You can also find me on Facebook. And as a matter of fact, feel free to send me a friend request, or Instagram. It's Robert Northfield. So, there's many ways you can find me. Google me if you forget, reach out to me.
Yep.
You'll be pleased how much you'll find about me. So that's another thing. People has to find you. People must be able to find you and connect with you easy.
Yeah, I never understood why people didn't put their stuff out there. If you're in the sales world, I want people to call me. I want them to be able to find my phone number, find my email, know where the heck I'm at. So
don't be an undercover agent.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, it was great having you, and I look forward to chatting with you again in the future.
Wonderful. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks, Rob.